Cannabis is ingrained in my brain. So when I wake up and I get up, it's like the coffee. It's like the coffee.
Miguel Laboy has smoked pot recreationally for more than 50 years and is also among the millions who use the drug for its medicinal benefits.
They prescribe me.
Okay, welcome to the video. So in this video, they titled that more Americans are addicted to cannabis and struggling to quit. And as we do know with anything, that find yourself overindulging in, and it creates like a dopamine hit, and um, you get a certain feeling. You're always wanting that feeling, or always wanting that thing, and when you can't go without it, that's definitely an addiction. And as he was saying, he's been smoking for years, so he's comparing it to his coffee. So that just lets how deeply invested that he is within, smoking and things of that nature. And go ahead and let the video continue, though.
Cannabis when I had the chemotherapy. This is my only medication, cannabis.
But compared to when Laboy started smoking in his teens, cannabis is much more accessible and potent. And contrary to popular belief, it is possible to develop an addiction. It's known as cannabis use disorder.
And I feel guilt to this day.
Okay, so as you just heard, there is, something that they've created called cannabis use disorder, to where, you can't function, you can't eat, can't sleep, not able to really live a normal life without doing it, because, your brain and, the cells, um, just everything is tied into wanting to go out and, smoke, and, feeling like that's good to like pass your day by and stuff like that. But unless you're in a state to where you can like go to a dispensary and get something legit, you want to definitely be mindful of the dangers out here, like fentanyl being sprayed onto it, and it being mixed or laced with other type of drugs, and definitely want to definitely be careful. It's always been called what they say is a gateway drug, which I don't believe that is the case for all people, or most people really. Just more than likely just a section of few millions of people that smoke and want to go and do something even harder, because they're looking for even higher high. And once you start getting to anything higher than weed, then you definitely are taking a huge risk of being addicted. Let me let the video finish up.
That I upsold high potency THC concentrates. And I remember, still to this day, selling shatter to 15-year-olds who would come in as medical patients with their mother. That's what I saw happening in the dispensary. People who were casual users like myself were all of a sudden swept up in it and consuming more and more. When I started consuming the high-potency THC concentrates, it was really altering who I was as a person. I was waking up and doing it. I was driving to the dispensary and doing it in the car.
Do you hear that? Once she got onto the more hot potent stuff, it just took over. Everywhere she went, everything she did, she would have to smoke, whether it's driving in the car, or getting yourself out and about. So it does, take over your life and stuff like that. And even though it's, as they say, something that grows from a seed, um, it's other things that not necessarily started out as a seed, but their origins are, from plants that's been planted and stuff like that. We'll let the video continue.
Before I went in there, I was doing it during the break.
For some, the positives still outweigh the negatives. The drug is cited to help with pain and anxiety, but frequent or heavy use can lead to memory and lung issues. Kyle, who was granted partial anonymity, said he used the drug to help manage panic attacks, but has felt a growing dependency.
Yeah, I smoke every day. It's the only thing that can make me relax and just actually be able to not feel like I need to do 1,000 things at once. But because of that, you know, you get a lot lazier, the brain fog isn't super fun, and then the brain fog can only be remedied by smoking again. So it kind of creates a pretty vicious cycle.
As you see, he just says, brain fog, laziness, man, all of these things are counterproductive to, what you're supposed to be out here doing, which is, getting yourself into position to where you're good, your family's good, or, anything other than, just sitting there and being lazy and getting to the point to where you have to do it with everything, you know. So I can certainly relate. And I had to open my eyes and see that. Say, man, I gotta leave this type of stuff alone because for one, it's draining pockets. For two, it's not letting me be as productive as I want to be. And for three, even though you think it's helping you with anxiety and paranoia and stuff like that, it actually is making it worse. And again, especially with things that are being like the pens that they have out now and all this and that. So, you don't necessarily know that that stuff is legit. They'll tell you it's legit. They'll put a label on it like it's legit. But then they also have to use certain stuff to make those items, that is even more harmful than just, crumpling up the leaf and smoking. So, um, I'm gonna let the video play out here.
For most of his life, LaBoy has described himself as a functional pothead, but his use escalated after he was introduced to high-potency vapes, a product about 15 times stronger than the flower he relied on before.
The vape make you smoke more. It's so convenient. Here I have my phone and here I have. It's incredible. I have these two things. I'm unhappy. I'm not proud of it, but I enjoy it. You know, I
And I think the man here that's the subject of this video, I think they said that he was in like chemotherapy, so apparently he has some type of cancer. And hey man, if it works for him, then he should continue to do what he does. It's really more so for people who are not necessarily in those situations and just do it for leisure. There's nothing wrong with it, man. But a lot of people do it excessively, and that really just causes them to go on a downward spiral to where they could potentially lose everything if they're not really careful. But I'm going to wrap this video up. If you like my content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And again, this is Justin Paul. Peace.